right. So the idea for this podcast kind of came from my personal experience, which you know, but maybe not everybody listening does. Shouldn't, because I haven't told everybody. But I've been in the tech industry for 20 years since college. Really before that, really I've always been like a computer kid. And as someone who's hunched over their computer all the time, I had no idea what hunching over a computer does to your body, especially over the course of decades. So my story kind of starts 4 years ago, and I'm going to keep this brief because I'll lose everybody right away if I get too detailed. But basically, I want to tell my story because I want to see if it's part of your story. If you're listening, if any of this sounds like something you've gone through, someone you know, and you're wondering like, what is going on with my body? Why is everybody telling me you're fine and I don't feel fine? I want this podcast to at least start as a place of like, we might have some answers for you or some things that you can try. And I'm just the guy who had it happen to him, the regular person. Marcy, I'm going to call you the expert. You're the wizard on the edge of town. You're the body mechanic who literally helped put me back together when I thought I was dying. So 4 years ago, what started happening was I just started randomly getting dizzy, like lightheaded, dizzy. And then one day I woke up and I couldn't open my mouth. It was just like my jaw was locked tight and there's nothing I could do about it. I was just stuck. This had happened once or twice before when I was a teenager. And that wasn't a great feeling. Like something's definitely wrong. So went to a doctor and he gave me, as doctors do, give me antibiotics saying, oh, it's probably, you've got like an infection or you got inflammation. We'll get rid of that. And so we did a round of antibiotics. It slowly got better, but probably would have slowly for my jaw. Yeah.
Okay.
And then it came back and he gave me another round of antibiotics. I'm like, dude, that didn't fix it last time. Why would I have more antibiotics again?
Yeah.
So I left him. And that thus started the beginning of a really long journey of figuring out what is going on. And symptoms kept getting worse along the way. So it was lightheadedness, dizziness, tight jaw. Then it was neck pain. Then it got to the point where my heart would just like race out of nowhere. I would like have palpitations. And then my heart rate would just go from like 70 to 130, like that while driving sometimes, which is... scary.
Super safe,
yeah, super safe. I mean, I drove myself to the ER on more than one occasion because I thought like I'm having a heart attack, something's happening. So yeah. And let me just read, this is the list of specialists I went through trying to figure out what was going on. So I went to the doctor and like, well, maybe it's TMJ, I thought. So I went to a dentist who did an x-ray and saw that I have a lot of extra bone growth from clenching. Like your bones are thicker than they should be because all the pressure that you've been putting on your jaw is like, shouldn't be there. Like, oh, well, that makes sense. So, all right, it's TMJ. Great. I think I even wrote a blog post about it, like 2021.
You get fitted with trays.
I just got like a over-the-counter one.
Okay.
Yeah. But like
that's usually the money, you know.
Yeah, that's right. That's where they get the money. Like, oh, let's give you a custom mouth guard and then you'll be fine. But the whole thing about the mouth guard is like you're just clenching into the mouth guard. So the mouth guard protects your teeth, but it doesn't stop the clenching. So I'm like, I want to find the solution. So I need to keep going. Yeah. So then I went to like a spa massage therapist to get like a TMJ massage. And they just like rubbed my face and it like felt okay. Like it didn't really do anything. Yeah.
A little relaxing.
I mean, sure, it was fine. I didn't hate it. Then I went to an acupuncturist. Then I went to a chiropractor. Because like maybe it's ear crystals. There was maybe an adjustment or two that actually helped a little bit for a day or two, but it didn't stick. Then the heart palpitation started at that point. So I was in urgent care. Then I was in the ER. And they did scans, they did x-rays, they did ECG, AKG. I was like, you're fine. Like, we can't find anything. I'm like,
You were
well,
heart monitor.
yep, exactly. Got referred to a cardiologist, followed up, did that whole thing. He's like, I don't know, you're healthy. We did ultrasound my arteries and all that. I don't know, you're healthy, dude. You're fine. It's in your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's in your head. That's that's the line when they don't know what to say. It's like, it's in your head.
Well, and unfortunately, that's usually where they start with women.
Yeah,
like at least men, they'll run a lot of the tests.
Yeah.
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 That's, yeah.
Yeah, so I did get tests. Yeah, but I mean, going to the ER is like you're there for 5 hours, 6 hours. And they're like, I have chest pain. Like, cool, we'll get to it when you, like, isn't that the secret code to like get in the line? You're like, I'm having chest pain. They should drop everything. You're like, okay, wait in the chest pain section where everyone else is like,
right. The people 40 years older than you are going to probably get seen.
Right, exactly. Like, he's healthy, he's fine.
Right.
Holistic doctor who said he was going to put me on more supplements I could ever imagine. Like, that's kind of a red flag.
Been there, done that.
Yep, I've tried that. Vestibular specialist, ran a bunch of tests. We can talk about that someday. That was a weird experience. A couple more chiropractors, physical rehab, neurologists. Eventually got to the point where I saw a counselor because I'm like, it's not going to get any better. I just need to learn how to accept this. I need to learn how to like live with this. And
like a grief counselor or something almost.
Like, yeah. So my church has a ministry that has like counseling, and they have a bunch of trained counselors. So actually I ended up meeting, the counselor was my pastor. Okay. But he's like, dude, this sounds like generalized anxiety. This sounds like anxiety, the heart racing and all this kind of stuff. And this is like after a couple of years, ended up taking his advice and talking to a psychiatrist, got a script for Lexapro, and that helped the heart palpitations. That was gone, but that's pretty much all it did. I think maybe there was, when it would get really bad, I would start to like freak out and have like actual anxiety because you're worried what's going on with your body. Like, did I feel like I'm dying? What's going on? Like years of trying to figure out what's wrong with you. Like, so it helped get out of that feedback loop of like, what's going on? I'm freaking out. What's going on? I'm freaking out. And then like that heart rate stuff, but it still wasn't the answer.
Well, or the idea that anxiety isn't occurring because there's something physical too. You know, they want to always separate them so much, but they generally are working hand in hand. If your body isn't feeling safe, you will have a generalized anxiety about not feeling comfortable because your nervous system doesn't have a place to land, essentially. It's constantly in some sort of fight or flight. Exactly. So you're not, that is strange though, that they can't really, holistically look at the thing.
Yeah. And I would have thought that along that list, and which there's an osteopath and there's some other people in there, but the long and the short of it was all these different people, there's an allergist in there.
I was going to say, what would physical therapy look like for that too? That'd be in.
Yeah. The physical therapy was dry needling.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Which actually we did talk about at some point, which was some helpful, especially for the jaw pain, specifically. Doing dry needling in your masseters was actually helpful. But all of that going around and around, literally all around Florida, trying to get into people, having to cash pay to just like to skip the line because otherwise, like, okay, we'll see you in like 8 months. You're like, and if I just gave you a pile of cash, would you see me? And they're like, oh, let me go talk to somebody. They're like, yeah, we can see you like in 3 weeks. You're like, okay. So I spent a ton of money trying to do this thing as we do, trying to figure this out.
Health as well.
Along the way, I also had separate, but now that I really realize, also related, like some shoulder pain and some back pain. And I was recommended to see you from a friend because you do, amongst other things, massage therapy, are very good at it. And you're welcome. No, thank you. Turns out you know a lot more than just how to make somebody relax. And through like what started with, hey, can you help me with my shoulder pain? You're like, oh, as soon as you started working on me, like, you've got some stuff going on. Like, I think you got some problems. You got some neck stuff. You got some.
I try to be nice about it.
Yes, you were nice. You were nice. But in that process of like working through that, realize actually like learning how your body works, learning the role of fascia, and really learning about like how the whole problem kind of lives in this 9 inches between my my C7 and my C1, right? Like all this stuff happens right here. And so all of those problems, or at least most of them, were stemming from
cervical instability,
yeah. Dysregulation,
right?
And from having my
head forward
posture,
yes,
from being at a computer,
right?
And to think that I could spend tens of thousands of dollars and 4 years hunting for an answer that honestly was like kind of obvious.
It's too obvious, right?
It's too obvious.
Yeah, that's why it's not.
Yeah, right. And
it requires you to make a personal effort to change.
Correct. There is no magic pill that you can just take.
Right, which unfortunately our system doesn't.
Yeah.
As we talked about, the magic pills.
They don't exist.
Right.
Because you can't just, there's nothing you can take once that will fix anything.
Right. Anytime you go, they're going to say, take this for at least a month to 2 months.
Right.
Every day.
Yeah.
Sometimes twice a day, around food, not around food. You're going to have all these different things that you have to do. But
exactly.
But you will do that for that pill.
Right.
But doing something else might be a little bit outside of your wheelhouse. You might not feel comfortable doing.
Yeah.
Or it will require effort, and an effort that you haven't usually made before.
Right. Exactly. And in your experience, you've been on the other side of people like me for how long?
25 years.
25 years. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. But I've also been where you are too. So it's like in the same place.
When you finally told me what you went through, I was like, okay, if she could come back from that, I think with your help, maybe I can come back from this. And I've gone from like a year, so we're recording this in August 2025, as recent as like maybe February or March of this year, maybe about a year ago. I don't know. How long have we been doing weeklies? Can you remember? Almost a year.
Yeah. My new space.
So about a year ago, I still had moments where I thought, I might be dying. Mm-hmm. Like I actually, on 2 occasions, I wrote a goodbye letter to my family because I thought I was dying. Like I thought it was so bad. Like basically what I now know is like thoracic compression, costochondritis, like all this stuff was so tight on my heart that I'm like, this is it. It's going numb. My arm's numb. Like this. And then you're Googling like, is that a myth too? Like
Elizabeth from Sanford and Son, remember?
Sanford and Son.
You're too young for that.
No. I'm old. We're practically the same age. We're very close. And Sanford and Son is right. That one. Yeah.
He would always grab his heart and go, Elizabeth.
Okay. No, I do remember that. I do remember that. I am old also. I'm in my 40s now. I just pretend I play a young person on TV.
I see. Yeah. Keep it.
Yeah. But all that to say, you've been doing this for 25 years.
A little over 25 years now.
Yeah,
yep.
Exactly. So you've seen a lot, you've done a lot. Right. That's kind of my story. And if any of those things sound like something that our listener, of which we have none yet, but we're hoping we'll get some.
We'll see.
If this is useful for you, please tell us, because we want to do this because she knows a lot. I've gone through a lot. I feel like between the two of us, we can kind of unpack a lot of things that will help people like me.
We can troubleshoot some issues.
Exactly. And so, dizziness, lightheadedness, nausea. Yeah, I would feel like I was going to pass out, like the room would go, like, vasovagal syncope, like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm. Kind of the bobblehead pulsing feelings.
Yep.
I get that. Some headaches. I don't think you did a lot of headaches.
Not too much pressure. Yeah, it would be like lower. Mm-hmm. Yep. And other general aches and pains of sitting at a desk too, low back issues, wrist problems are like, that's everybody ends up with. You start out with the keyboard they give you at your first job, and that's fine. And then you get older and you're like, well, now I need an ergonomic keyboard and a mouse and the thing. And I've got we'll have some listeners who have vertical mice and split keyboards that are like on their laps, like in 2 separate pieces. And the stuff it takes to like keep sitting at that desk. And
I call it computer injuries. When I see my clients, I'm like, oh, you work at a computer, you have computer injuries.
Yeah,
they just laugh, but it's something I just created as a way to explain to them the trauma that they're actually putting through their body when they're thinking that they're sedentary. They're thinking they're just not moving an inch, but is the human body designed to not move an inch?
Yeah, no.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's actually very kind of traumatic to put it in those frozen kind of tetany positions and expect it, especially our like postural muscles that run all the time, to be constantly running. They need a break. You need to sit. You need to lay down. So, or get up and walk around, know. So usually just hunching over a keyboard is injurious to your spine, to your head, to your neck. So
yeah,
I try and explain that.
Yeah, I call them, when I'm trying to tell people, like, it's just a slow motion injury.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen like in 1 second. It happens in those prolonged states where you're in that position.
Right. We call it kind of repetitive motion, but that's almost repetitive non-motion. So
like repetitive strain injury or repetitive
like
perpetual state injury. Like, we can coin a new phrase.
There we go. I like it. But it's just very unnatural. And I also call that mouse arm. Is similar to like driving leg, like gas pedal leg. So anytime you have a part of your body that has to kind of act independently and then stay on.
Yes.
And just
most people are right-handed. Most people end up with like carpal tunnel in their right hand. It's like, oh, it's my mouse hand.
Right. And then like you're saying, a lot of them are adjusting wrists and things like that. But where is it coming from?
Right.
Like, where are you actually lifting your arm from?
Right.
So, we can talk about ourselves as mechanistic, in principles of mechanistic thought, but the body all works together.
Yep.
So if something's down the chain, it's probably going up the chain. It's probably going across. So there's going to be an alternate muscle group that's having to function as well.
Right.
Or dysfunction, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that's like a good baseline. If that's the sort of thing you're interested in or want to find help with, that's at least where we're going to start with this podcast, is covering that the topics on like what you can actually do to prevent or correct.
Yeah.
And
or even just comprehensively understand.
Yeah.
And then it's up to you whether you want to change that or not, I guess.
Exactly.
But at least if you could understand maybe what is causing it, you would have more information to make that judgment on your own.
Right, exactly.
Which is all I try to bring to people. So.
Yes. Yeah, and I realize not everybody has you or somebody like you in their area. So there's some things you can do. There's things that you've shown me to do myself. If it's really bad, you might need to find somebody that can help you.
Right. Maybe we can work on forming a network or something.
Yeah, exactly. Because just ye old standard massage therapist is not exactly her title. No. Yeah. No. Do you want to talk about your background at all?
We could, sure. I am originally from Ohio, so I trained in my original massage license there. And it's about a 2-year program compared to other places like California or Florida, where it can be, 6-7 months. Mm-hmm. My teacher, I was very, very lucky to be at a very small school with an amazing instructor who was a homeopathic doctor. He was a DO, doctor of osteopathic medicine. He was a naturopath, so herbalism, stuff like that. Mm-hmm. And he now runs an Ayurvedic portion of the education now. So I've always said I would love to go back and do that now that he's completely filled that out. And they just really taught us true myofascial work, true trigger points. We had cadaver lab studies. It was just much more anatomical, physiological based. We had study on pathology at the end of every chapter, medications, all the things you should and shouldn't do, which I think a lot of massage therapists are doing things that they shouldn't be doing because they don't know better. Yeah. And they just want to help, which is a lot of the reasons why we come into this field. And they're maybe not helping as much as they could be if they had just stayed and educated themselves longer.
Yeah.
So then when I moved down here, I started doing the work that I do mostly now, which is the cranial work. It's something called structural energetic therapy and was created by Don McCann over in Tampa. And it has a cranial component, some intraoral components that we know are lots of fun.
And for laymen, intraoral means all up in your mouth.
All up in there. So
that was a really bizarre first experience. You're like, and now I'm gonna go in your mouth. And I'm like, at a massage?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that's why I only do word of mouth. I do no advertising because you have to know what you're going to get into.
Yeah, when I refer you, I'm like, just so you know, she's going to go all up in your mouth. And they're like, I get to see their reaction first, and then I do or don't.
I would love to hear how my clients actually explain be a fly on a wall for that conversation. Because, yes, I've heard some really interesting things on the other side. Like, do I do that? I guess I do.
Yeah.
I guess I didn't notice I did that.
Yeah.
So.
But that piece was like, that was probably the most critical piece to you, helping me get back to a place where I felt like a normal person again.
Yes.
It's like my brain fog and like cognitive ability was so reduced. And I mean, I don't know what the mechanism for that is that just like blood flow? Is that
it is
compression, nerve compression?
Right.
But like I'd got to the point where I couldn't hold a thought in my head.
Mm-hmm. That's a lot of C1.
Just like gone. And like I would be writing and I would forget how to write sometimes, or my letters would flip and I would get like momentarily like dyslexic and my letters would start writing inverted.
Interesting.
Like, that's not good.
Yeah. That's interesting. A lot of that I do think is C1. So we've talked a little bit about this, but C1 is a washer. So if you know what all the other vertebrae look like, they have little pointy things on them.
Yeah, they kind of like interlock, sort of.
You've seen a deer, or jewelry. Every vertebra has these little bones that kind of poke off your prominences. C1 doesn't really have those. It's just kind of a round, they call it a washer. So it sits right in between your occiput and then, of course, C2. And it only shifts. It doesn't rotate. I think C2 is where you start getting rotation. Okay. So it only has a very limited range.
Right. It's like the pedestal that everything sits on.
It just it's the connector, right? Because you have this big thing going into this smaller thing. You need a little bit of a connection piece. So the body, makes that. So that in and of itself is the most unstable place in the entire body.
Yeah.
Surprise.
Yeah.
So then we have that to contend.
That's the one that us computer people droop out over things.
Right. Yeah. And it's usually the one that in our society with our head down, phones, forward facing, everything.
Yeah.
People tend to really create a lot of dysfunction around their C1. But as you're saying, all the way down to C7. So pretty much the whole cervical spine gets takes that dysfunction. So, and then we can't leave it alone. Then the rest of the spine, has to do something to compensate for that.
Right.
So that's where the cranial corrections come in. We look at a body not just as, my shoulder hurts, but not to get too in depth, but we actually utilize some different distortion patterns. So we have them named, we can test for them, and then we just figure out which pattern or which patterns a person is stacking, and then we start unstacking them. So we will use different protocols. So I might not work your entire body all at once, right? So I'm doing different pieces and parts to get the body to start to pull itself back into balance. The major problem I see with most massage therapists is it's, arm, leg, you're always face down, rub your back. And there's not a lot of differentiation in the size of the body. So if you're in what we would call a torsion pattern or a shear pattern, you wouldn't, if you did everything exactly the same, you would just be like a little less, like you'd still be in the shear, but like a little less tight.
Sure.
We wouldn't change the dysfunction underlying anything. We would just change
loosen it up a little bit.
Yeah, the muscular tension on top of it.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of not as fun. If you want to make actual change or get actual results with your clients, you have to, go into these deeper discussions with the body. So we use different protocols, different cranial releases, and different tests to figure out which one we're going to do for that session, which one's kind of in the hierarchy that day. So that's the other good thing, is that each time you come in for a session, it's going to be different. You're not just going to get the same session every day.
Yes.
And
unlike a spa massage, which might literally be the same. Boop, 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 whatever. You like the sound effects? Yeah.
Right. I call it rubbing the lotions. It's like, it rubs the lotions on the skin. I don't know why it creeps me out when I go and get those massages, because I'm just like, oh.
What are we doing here?
Yeah.
You want a nice assisted nap.
Or you just come out like dripping in oils and like, yeah. So I don't, coming from a more medical training background, then when I started doing set, it really unlocked a lot of information and the potential of what I could do with people in each session.
Yeah.
And then, of course, started doing functional patterns. About 5 years ago.
Yeah.
And that changed my life and completely helped me with a lot of the residual headaches and little things that I was still dealing with some of my trauma and my body problems.
Yes.
Then that just really, icing on the cake, just kind of put the other side onto everything for me and really gave me a comprehensive package to work with people now. So I can do the release portion, and then of course we can pull tension back into the body. The idea that we should just never have tension, right? We need tension to be standing up. We need tension to be erect as humans. So, but where is that tension? Is the tension in a dysfunctional place, or is it in the place that the body likes that tension to be?
Right.
So if it's all in the front of the body and pulling you down, then it's probably not going to like that.
Right.
If you can find your center, more down in your pelvic floor, you're going to be happier neurologically too, right? Your nervous system's going to feel more safe.
Right.
And then some of those symptomologies will go away. Hopefully.
That's the hope.
That's the idea. Yeah.
And in practice, it did work for me.
Yeah.
It does work.
It
Yeah.
does work.
Yeah. Now functional patterns is like a specific movement pattern. It's an organization that, I'm trying to, I know what it is, but I'm trying to decide like how to explain it. It's not just functional fitness, like as a broad term. Like functional patterns is like a very specific set of movements and strategies. And
right. And that's been the biggest problem, is a lot of people are kind of lumping functional patterns into functional fitness
just
now.
In general. Yeah. It's like, if it's like unbranded CrossFit, it's functional fitness. Like that's not it.
It's 100% not.
It is exercise. I have not done anything. I used to do CrossFit. That's how I hurt my shoulders. I enjoyed it. It was fun. Like squatting 300 pounds was like macho. But
you got up to 300.
300. Yeah, I did.
You got your knees and everything.
I still have my knees. They're still good. I can't tell you how many times I hurt my back deadlifting.
I was gonna say.
And it's clean and jerks. That's how I hurt my shoulders. Clean and jerk.
Yeah.
Turns out not a great motion to like. Anyway,
I just tell people if the word jerks in it,
yeah,
maybe don't do it.
Maybe don't do it. It's probably not good for you. Sorry if you love clean and jerks.
It's like, what is that though? Like the idea of jerk, you know what I mean? It's like,
right. Yeah,
really think about that for a second, and then
you're gonna make a whipping motion and do a 180 degree like quick motion with your arms.
Oh, that kipping stuff.
Oh, and the kipping stuff. Yeah. Ooh.
I watched the CrossFit games.
Yeah. The CrossFit gym I did go to, we didn't kip. They definitely rounded out all those like sharp corners. All that to say, they disaffiliated. Like they like, maybe we shouldn't be doing these things. They got rid of barbells for 6 months. Like it was a good, I loved being there back in New York before I moved to Florida. And the owner of that gym, I'd love to have him on the podcast sometime. And he's a really smart guy who's like, oh yeah, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe he's on the same journey in a lot of ways that I've been. All that to say, functional patterns. I've been doing only functional patterns for exercise now for probably at least 6 months. I've not curled or deadlifted or squatted or anything. And I feel so much better in my body. Like people ask me, "Are you working out?" I'm like, yes. If you looked at me while I was doing it, you would wonder what I was doing. And that's really fun, as we'll kind of talk about and probably show you some things. This is going to be an interesting thing about this podcast, because functional patterns is going to come up a lot. But you can't share everything about it because it is like a proprietary intellectual property. Like aspects of it are IP. So we want to be sensitive to that and not get in trouble or get sued. Also,
right.
I am going to be taking the functional patterns, like
Human
Foundations course, to be a practitioner, just because I want to learn this stuff better. So now I'm under an NDA. If you're going to take that, you have an NDA. So I do need to be careful about that, as you are too. As
yes.
All that to say, there are some things we can certainly explain, talk about, show, but then to go deeper down that particular road might need to just point you to some resources. Like,
absolutely,
they have a 10-week course. Yeah, find a local trainer. They have a whole database. It's great, but we're not going to go into depth on that. Yeah. It's too soon. This is the first episode.
Yes, but it is life-changing, and if you're already exercising, might as well do something that's going to make you feel better and not worse.
Correct. Yeah. And it's amazing how much it does so quickly, and in what basically looks like sometimes just slow motion or standing still, and you're like breaking a sweat and you're about to like fall over. You're like, what are you doing, Jack? I'm holding tension. Like I'm holding a lot of tension in really specific places, and I'm moving it around my body intentionally.
Intentionally. And really specific places.
Yeah, exactly.
Those are all like the key.
Those are the key words, right? Yeah. That is what functional patterns is, and that's what separates it from just exercise in general.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Well, and the idea of exercise too, we tend to want to do exercises to make ourselves feel better.
Of course.
To look good.
And everyone tells you it's good for you.
Right. And generally what we're doing is a motion similar to what we're doing all day that's also dysfunctional. So if that's where Naudi created a lot of this stuff, is if you're already working in the sagittal plane.
The sagittal plane is
front, right, for up and down. So
up and down. Yep. So like a squat.
Right.
A squat is very,
or even,
a curl.
Everything's just lines straight up.
You're lifting things towards the ceiling. You're putting them back down towards the ground. That's the sagittal plane. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you're already working in that, or me, that's what I'm doing all day. It's just
right. You're leaning over people. You're pushing on them.
Like a hunchback on people. So I shouldn't do more exercises in that position. Like what should I do? I didn't know.
Right.
Until, I did.
Turns out, if you're coding, you're at a computer all day, or you're a writer, or you're a musician, or whatever, also you're very sagittally focused.
Well, and I joke too, our eyes are in the front of our heads.
Yours are.
Well, if they were in the back, we would all be extension-based creatures, right? But our eyes are in the front, so we're all flexion. No matter if you work in an assembly line, work at a desk, work at a cashier, anywhere you're going to work, your eyes and your hands, everything's going to be in front of you. So you're going to be focused in that flexion position.
Mm-hmm.
And you see, as people get older, they start getting really trapped into that position, and it starts collapsing.
Right.
We call it the core collapse. So it's actually literally collapsing down around themselves, which changes the way their head has to be held, which changes their back, which changes almost every piece of their spine. And that's when you really see scoliotic curvatures happening in really older people.
That's the whole...
Right. Because they've collapsed. Their musculature can't actually pick them back up and out of that anymore.
Right.
And that's kind of end phase, right? It's not ideal to be your end phase.
Yes.
But it is, unfortunately for a lot of people, that's how they go down.
Yeah.
Because then you end up tripping. You're going to fall. You're going to break something. You're going to end up with pins and,
Right.
And you're going to end up on medications. And then you're going to have more surgeries. And then you're going to...
Right. So instead of doing things that continue to put you in that
further into that
dysfunction, and you've talked about it in the past of it being like your movement is like sort of creating an invisible cast that you're, and if you think about your movement in like four dimension, like in time, the movements that you make in time kind of create a shape. and that's your cast. And if you never bust yourself out of that cast, that's why when you're like, oh, I felt fine. And then like all of a sudden I went to like reach up and grab something off a shelf and like, I like pulled my shoulder or I pulled my back because you did a quick movement outside your cast, right? Is that?
Oh yeah, it's always like grabbing your purse in the back seat.
Yeah, it's some sort of twisting, like reaching motion that you're not training, you're not doing ever.
Right, and it's usually a rotation, right? Because we're always in the up and down. We don't really do a lot of the rotation.
Right.
So, and not that just adding a rotation is going to fix all the problems either, because that's not what a lot of functional training is. Kind of
just throwing rotation in just
They're
randomly.
Just showing it online, like, well, now we just.
Oh, I see plenty of Instagram ads for things that'll rotate you for you.
Yes.
You know, like the shoulder one that's like you just swing it around, or like the.
Oh, yeah.
You know.
Or even just those harness things that like hold you up into a more proper posture.
Oh, right. Yeah. Let's fix your posture by using a device.
Yeah.
Which now.
Weakening your core.
Yeah, you're now rely on an external device instead of relying on your body to move itself to where it should belong.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the idea too. A lot of people don't realize how much change they can just force into themselves. And I think once you go through a couple sessions, you're like, oh my gosh, like the amount of pressure you can put on yourself to change what you don't like.
Right. Just like that, the tension that you can intentionally choose to generate yourself can be so much greater than what I would assume. Like, oh, I need heavier weights to do this, right? Oh, I'm going to pick up, I need 50s, I need 100s, I need whatever. Like you keep adding weight to do stuff. Now that like I'm in my garage, sweating, just... like just rotating my torso, you know, without my head or my hips, right? I'm just like trying to move it, and it's wild.
That's what's fun about it.
That's what. No, it is like it is actually really fun because the further we get into it, the more it starts to pick up other motions that look like. My wife will walk in the garage and she's like, "Are you doing like karate, or like is that like a kata or something?" You know, because like sometimes the motions will continue into like, you know, multiple steps, and like it does kind of like have a Tai Chi aspect, or at least on the outside it sort of looks like that sort of motion.
Right, because you're slowing down, walking, running, throwing, like, and those motions look pretty cool, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like
that's what's fun too, is you can kind of get that athletic warrior mindset because you're doing these types of movements.
Yeah, 100%. And so some of the more, as you get into the functional pattern stuff, you're swinging clubs and like heavy like weights on ropes and stuff. Like it's, I don't know, it's kind of cool.
It's fun.
Yeah.
I mean, well, and that's what I always want to have fun when I'm doing something. And so I like to be really, really challenged though too, because I think a really hard challenge is actually fun for me.
Sure.
And so I know a lot of people don't like correlate those two things.
Sure, but some do.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot more people do than they realize too. So because if it's just too easy, then it's like, well,
it's boring.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they'll give you small wins, you know?
Right.
But then like make the plank really hard or something. You know?
Yeah. When I relearned how to plank, I'm like, why is this so hard? I'm still on my knees. Yeah. I used to be able to plank for minutes.
Can't hold it like 5 seconds and then you die.
Exactly. We're done real quick.
Yes. And I mean, my trainer, she would end my session with 30 seconds of plank.
Yeah.
And then it was a minute, you know, and I barely made a minute, but it's
the
fact that you can't is, it's
and
both shocking and exciting. Yeah.
And some of these things you're doing are like 3 reps, 5 reps, maybe a big one would be like 8 reps. And then that's it. Like you're done.
Yeah.
It fits into my day so much better because I don't have to think about it. Like I don't have to block an hour out to do this kind of stuff where you have to warm up for 15 minutes and then you gotta like, you do your HIIT workout and then you do some weightlifting and then you gotta cool down and then you gotta stretch. Like I can just start it like right now and it would work. I would get the same benefits.
Yeah. And you can wear your clothes. You don't have to change.
Yeah. Oftentimes I'm not even sweating. I shower way less. No.
No, a lot of what I would do would be on the couch.
Yeah.
When I first started.
Yeah.
Because I had a really traumatic emergency C-section, and I had no abdominal connectivity. And so that was something I was battling and doing all these HIIT workouts and doing all these
and
things.
going from that to like, now I can't hardly move.
Right. And I thought, well, okay, I'll do more HIIT workouts. So that wasn't working. And I did that, I think, till my daughter was almost 4.
Okay.
So 4 years. I have videos of myself in my living room just slogging away. And then, did the 10-week online course. I think probably 5 months later, I did Human Foundations.
Yeah.
And it was just boom, 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 right
all of a
from
sudden
there.
Things started to come together.
Yeah. And then I would everything I would do, I would literally just sit in my clothes on the couch, trying to figure out where wasn't connecting, how to get it back, and, using different techniques that we'll cover later. And it was just, my partner would walk into the room and he'd be like, FP, like all day.
That's what my wife does now. And she's like, I'll be making a weird face or in like a weird position or something. And she's like, doing your FP. I'm like, obviously.
Yeah. It's you're in it to win it now. So.
Exactly. I mean, I'm bought in. Yeah. I mean, it may sound like we're not sponsored by Functional Patterns.
They probably don't even want us talking
Probably.
No,
I don't know. It's hard to say. But it is one piece, a really, really excellent piece, but it is one piece of the different sorts of things that you do and of the things that have been helpful for me.
Right. It's kind of, I call it the other side of the coin. So there is the release side and even functional patterns. When I took the 10-week online, a lot of it is myofascial rolling.
Yeah. The first 3 weeks are all you, a lacrosse ball, and a medicine ball, basically.
And when I went into it, I said, he's going to have to do some myofascial release if he wants to get the changes that he's saying he's going to get.
Right.
And then when I bought the course and he was doing myofascial release, it just made me go, okay, he actually does know. He actually knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And he's, on the same page, because you can't build a new house on a crappy foundation. You really have to start over in a lot of ways. And if you've built up tension in the wrong places, putting it in the right places doesn't make it just go away from the wrong places. So you do have to do a little bit of erasure in the beginning. So that's the big piece in the beginning, is getting all of that worked through. Then you have a decent foundation. You can start building new tensions onto that. But it's not one before the other, really. Right. It's not even both simultaneously.
It's one very, very specifically first and then the other.
Yes.
I think maybe that's a good opportunity for us to talk about fascia in general from like a high level perspective, as like something that, this first episode, we kind of want to see, is this the sort of stuff you're interested in? Do you want to talk about this? You're here for us? You want to send us your questions? I'm talking to our imaginary listener right now.
Absolutely.
And if this is the sort of thing you're interested in, here's something that you could learn that I didn't get before meeting Marcy. We did foam rolling. I knew what myofascial release was. I've had Graston work and stuff, but like until you really explained how fascia actually works, how they don't teach you in school, they don't even tell you really that it's a thing. At least I didn't, in high school or college bio or whatever. So if we talk, if we can leave you with understanding how the fascia system works, that can be something we can build on in maybe the next episode and start to teach you more how your body actually works and what you can do to take care of it and undo some of the pains that you have. So let's get into fascia. Yeah?
Yes. So fascia, the way I like to explain it to people is kind of like the pantyhose that runs through your entire body. So if you think about when a pantyhose runs, you get a snag in your hose. If you've ever really looked at the hose, the run's down here and then the snag is kind of up here. So it's very similar.
I had sisters, so I know what you're talking about.
Right. I was gonna say, unless pantyhose are kind of out of style.
Yeah, it's true. So. Is there another analogy for the guys listening who don't know what pantyhose are? Anyway,
yeah. I mean, you can.
It's a webbing. It's like a skin suit over your muscles.
Yes, and it's so thin, like a pantyhose.
Yeah.
So it's also if you've ever eaten a chicken wing, there's a tissue paper like substance around each muscle. I can't even eat chicken wings because I end up dissecting them.
Or like if you smoke muscle. Meats, like on the ribs, there's like that's the fascia that you want to like peel off the bone to let the smoke get into the actual meat, so like you actually are ripping that fascia off.
Interesting. There's connective tissue.
Yeah, you have to like you get a spoon underneath it, and then you grab a paper towel and you like tear it off.
Right, because some of the bigger fascia sheets are around our bones, so that would make sense.
Exactly, like on the ribs. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay, so it covers your whole body.
Everything. That's why the cranial work works, is because we're just accessing the fascia at the top at the sphenobaselar syncondrosis. So basically at the joint between the sphenoid and the occipital bone.
I know those words.
Yeah, so that fascia just will run down the rest of the body. It doesn't really have an ending or a beginning, though. So it's just
you don't have like your bicep fascia that's just like enveloped just your body. Like
you do, but it connects to all the other fascia,
right?
And they can't necessarily be like, oh, it ends at the fingers, because it then just wraps back. You know what I mean? It doesn't. There is no definitive when we do autopsy. There's just no definitive end or beginning. It kind of just keeps looping back into itself. I should have brought my anatomy book, but there's a great picture where it shows all of the different muscle spindles. Those are then sheeted in the fascia. It has its own name, and I think endomeso, that whole thing.
Sure.
Smaller.
I know. Yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about.
So then that little group of sections, now you have a bunch of these guys, right? All covered in fascia. Now fascia is going to cover all of them and make them into a group. Now you're going to have groups of those. Those are going to now form a group. I'm doing it big, but it's much smaller.
Right, sure.
And that's going to be your muscle then.
Right.
So all these little tiny compartments making up bigger and bigger and bigger compartments is what creates the muscle.
Each interconnected via fascia.
Right. Yeah. And when it's in a certain area, it's just in a fascial pocket.
Okay.
And so now that is your bicep. Right. It runs from your acromioclavicular joint to your whatever, humerogrenular joint. Like whatever it is, that's where it is. That's the muscle. Now they've started talking in the fascial world that there's just all these fascial pockets, that it's not necessarily individual muscle groups, which I think is really fascinating, because all the muscle groups are connected through the fascia. They are all still working together. Right. So if you have an injury and now the muscle that usually lifts your arm is hurt, some of the other muscles are going to start helping out.
Right. Yeah.
So they're going to start doing it. Then you end up in probably pain later on, because that muscle that's not supposed to do. It's
cool that your body can adapt when this thing is not working. It can find another way.
Right.
Nature finds a way.
Exactly.
You continue to function, but there will be a price to pay eventually.
Well, and there are some redundancies, which is why our body has done that, is because I think, is knowing that we're going to get injured at some point. That's why we have more teeth that grow and, all these different systems. I do wonder, there must be
my spare arm that I'm growing on my back. Yeah.
Some intelligence to that design. So
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But what was I saying? Oh yeah. So the fascial pockets.
Yes.
I also think that like the tendons and the ligaments, basically everything is fascia. So anything named and unnamed has a fascial component to it.
Okay.
When that tissue is in its happiest state, it's a fluidy, kind of gelatinous. They call it SOL or SOL, which is a whole other conversation.
Sure. Yeah.
But that tissue will harden. So it dehydrates and it hardens up.
Right.
I've also come to realize we start talking about the fluid in our body, we're over 70% water, whatever that is you hear when you're
where
little.
Is that? Is it blood?
I thought it was. Like, I thought, oh, it's like your blood or your lymph.
Yeah.
Now
or like
I'm
whatever's
really
in my bladder.
It's right.
Yeah.
Right.
This is 14%. Yeah.
That it's probably that easy water as well. Like the water that lives in the fascia, in the gel state. Yeah. There is a water in that collagen, fibrin tissue that the exclusionary zone is then created. So
that's the easy stands for exclusionary zone. It's a fourth state. This is something I learned about recently. The fourth state of water is called easy water, which is negatively ion charged water in your body, which does things mechanistically different than like a positively or neutrally charged water. Like it behaves like a data network. I don't know.
So that water pulls the negative ions in and I guess pumps the protons out. And there's, a whole, I guess, the energy created in that pump system, which is very fascinating and beyond my scientific ability.
It's like we're finally starting to scratch the surface of the scientific explanation for what like ancient Chinese qi was maybe like seeing, but like kind of spiritualizing, right?
Right. Well, I think the meridian systems, in my world, they are kind of non-spiritual, because it really is just energetic pathways. And the idea that we are not energetic or have energetic pathways just completely is why our Western system looks the way I think it does.
Right. Because as soon as you hear like, ooh, energy, it's kind of like a woo-woo, like, oh, they're crystal involved.
Right.
Right. It's like, no.
Right.
We are like the whole point of the Matrix is we are human batteries, right? Like that was like the movie is like, that's what the robots turned us into human batteries because we store so much electricity. And so
so an electron is a negatively charged particle.
Yeah, we are like fluid batteries.
Water, exactly.
Yeah.
And we are made of minerals and electrons. We're just charged up
goo
circuit board. Right. I mean, but the information has to get from the central nervous system out into the peripheral. So how does that happen?
Yeah, because the actual nerves themselves don't cover all of the body, right? Like if you ever look at a map of they cover a lot. Like they go all over.
They do.
They don't cover everything.
And why would there be neurotransmitters then? If the nerve itself could just carry it
so the neurotransmitters are in your blood, in your fascia. And they send signals.
Right. Yeah. So if there's a signal disruption, or we've talked about two people with lacking of minerals and, all of the nutrition aspect of the amount of minerals we have in our body, magnesium, copper, manganese, iodine, there's just all of the spectrum of minerals that I think when that system is charged up, our energy's flowing better, our brains are working better, our nervous system works better, our guts, everything is getting the correct information.
Right.
When you put a blockade in the middle of the road or, a kink in the hose, then is that information going to get to where it wants to get to?
Yeah.
Probably not.
For you techie people, it's like dropping packets on your network. Right. Most of the data still gets there, but like bits don't. And like it causes problems.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think most of what's happening is that dysregulation because it's a miscommunication in the body somewhere.
Right.
The body wants to get back to neutral, but most likely it's something that you're doing that is not allowing it to get there.
Right.
Whether it's something you're taking in exogenously or if it's even just mental stress. I think can affect our minerals. So.
Yeah. And there's two things. Hopefully I can remember both of them now that I've said that there will be two things. That's something I always do. I'll set up a point and be like, I've got two things to say about that. And I can only remember one of them. But one is that easy water. I was researching it and I might have the numbers a little bit wrong and we can fact check this and put it in the notes, right? That's what podcasters do. We'll put it in the show notes.
Right.
But like your nerves can send data in like 3 nanoseconds or micro, whatever's even smaller than nanoseconds, whatever it is. It's like 3 but the easy water, like your fascial system can do like 100,000 times faster. So like your nervous system is slow compared to your fascial system when it comes to telling your muscles to do stuff, telling your nerves to do things. Like they kind of go pre-warm up everything before the nerves even say like, now lift a thing. Like that's how it works. Like, whoa, I didn't know that there's this whole like other system happening. Yeah.
Oh, it's so cool.
And it's so fast. Like it is like, that's the fastest thing in your body. It can move data like so insanely fast. And I don't have the exact numbers off the top of my head.
I mean, we're the best computer, but it's at the same time, we are a mechanism.
Yeah.
And so if you slap your computer and throw it down the stairs and then expect it to work.
Yeah, some of it might work. Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's going to be making it work.
Right, if it was made really well. But I do think that we just expect more from our bodies than we expect from any other machine in our lives. Yeah. And if people could just give themselves the same amount of attention, support, throwing money at, people throw money at their car,
your boat,
wheels,
your hobby things.
Right, little lights and things. I mean, purses,
Sure.
I see, it's just, it doesn't, it's like if you would focus that amount of effort on
your body,
on the mechanism that counts the most, in my opinion.
I've drunk the Kool-Aid now. This is a big part of like every day, or at least most days, is thinking about this stuff. Yeah. And it's like, I'd love to get it. Like, I want to nerd out and do a podcast where I will run out of stuff to say real quick, but the stuff. So this is great.
I know a little bit about a lot of
stuff. Yes, no, let's be honest. You know a lot about a lot of stuff. I did remember the second thing for those who are tracking. The other thing I thought was very interesting is how when your body has, when you're compensating for like pain or sore muscles or joints or whatever, right? So you're say you've got a really, really weak core and my head's forward. So now, as gravity's now pushing down on me, what's it going to do? Like, now I'm going to stack like this. So now my lower back has to, have to shift my hips forward. And now I'm overactivating my quads, right? And so like the way my body wants to move is like the easy path. That's like the most efficient way. But when I've got these problems, or when I allow poor posture or whatever to like force my body to run with all of these backup like compensations, that's like low level work that your nervous system has to do all the time now. Mm-hmm. And so your capacity, say if you have 100% capacity to do whatever, run, lift, play, fish, whatever your things are, but 40% of it is used to like make your body just work because you're using the wrong muscle groups and the wrong things. Now your capacity to handle things has diminished. And I think that's where anxiety can come in, because you need your whole body, your whole nervous system to process just the hormones and chemicals that go through your body, like fight or flight. Like adrenaline is good. Like we need adrenaline. It's important. You need all these different like neurotransmitters all serve a purpose. But when your body's like too busy just trying to keep itself upright, you don't have your whole body to like flush that stuff out and work through it all. And so now all of a sudden, now your feedback loop is like way tighter. Mm-hmm. And that's where all this other layer of problems come out of. I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Cause like I've got this really poorly stacked set of cards where like, like my body's like, oh my God, don't move. There's so much work to make you move, and like, in my 20s.
Or something bad might happen.
Or something bad. Yeah, exactly. Something bad might happen when I do move. Exactly. I did it again. I hurt the thing. Right.
Well, and that's the problem even with, chiropractic going, okay, your C-spine's like this and this is like this.
Right.
But then you go back and you do all that same stuff. And then so you're still completely out of whack. It's like you're not pushing the tension into the muscular tissue to actually hold the body up in a different way, to position it differently.
Push the bones to where maybe they want to be. Yeah. And the muscles are like, yeah, but I like it back here.
Right. And that's where I always tell people, your bones don't just flop around inside your body. You know what I mean? They're not just like this idea of like in and out. And I do have a squirrely rib and it does go in and out. So I understand, but it's not so in and so out. There's a tissue that's pulling on it. Right. There's something else that happens. And so when my muscle twists up, it pulls the rib head out.
Right.
The chiropractor can fix it, and that's great. But when they're doing it in these much longer, and especially with the cervical spine, there are some great cervical chiropractors though. So I don't want to poo-poo everyone, because I have a great one too. So
fair enough. Give me his name or her name. Yeah, exactly. Yep.
But, once again, do all of them completely understand, the comprehensive, or are they just trying to kind of get you in and get you out? That's another problem, I think, with all capitalistic portions of our society, unfortunately, is that they're not necessarily based on what result they're getting. They're just trying to suck up as many people as they can.
Yeah, they're optimizing for profit and also minimizing litigation, getting sued, right? So like that's the whole standard of care. Your doctor's not going to recommend you do something that's not cleared by insurance for them to recommend, because otherwise you can get sued for it.
Right.
Which is why
they got to cover their butts, and
why like care has gotten so bad lately. And why it took 21 different specialists to not tell me anything.
Well, and that's when I realized too, because I did want to become a doctor, and I see how paralyzed you get in that, and you can't say the things that you want to say.
Yeah.
And so because of how I am,
right.
personality-wise, was like, well, I don't want to do that. So
exactly.
I can't have somebody telling me what to do all the time. So yeah, I had to, choose another route where I could still help people, but I don't feel the oppressive weight of a system on top of me.
Right.
My sister's a doctor, and she has to have malpractice insurance that covers her, I think, 20 years after she quits. 10 or 20 years after she stops actually ever practicing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right.
I mean,
so the
makes
pressures
sense
that they are under, I am not saying, they have to do what they have to do. So
right, because it's now that's where we've gone.
Right.
And so you have to, because someone will sue 19 years later.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Oh,
who knows?
It's tough. It's tough out there.
Mm-hmm.
It is really tough, and has gotten worse in the last 5 years, obviously. But we can save those.
Yeah. right.
Those thoughts for another day.
But I do think if people, just knew that they could be making small changes on a daily basis and giving themselves the grace to do something new that they've never done before.
Yep.
And also look at themselves objectively instead of from a judgmental perspective. I think, too, that's why a lot of doctors don't want to tell people, to eat differently or, whatever, sit up straight, whatever it is.
Right.
Because they feel like they're going to kind of hurt their feelings. But when I do tell my clients, hey, why does your, foot stick out like that? Or like, do you notice that you do this, weird thing?
Yeah.
They're always like, thank you, whereas for a long time I didn't want to tell them too, because I felt the same, I think, as all those other professionals that, I don't want to, hurt their feelings, or, maybe I can do all the other stuff I do and still fix their problems without
having to make them feel bad about themselves. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
or even them being aware of how much I'm doing, let me do the work. I'm the professional. And then, they just show up. But it's like, the people I get the best results from are people who partner with me and who want, really want to see the change happen in themselves.
Yeah.
If they don't, then, then they'll get what they put the effort into, I guess, just like all things. So,
right. Yeah. Cool.
There's always, our own efforts that matter. So
yeah,
that's what I try to, I don't know. For the last 5 years, I've really changed the way I work with people, I think. And if you had met me 5 years ago, I might not have said some of the things that I said.
That's fair. Well, I'm glad that I had the problems I did when I did, and not longer ago, I suppose.
Well, I had to change my own mentality, and I do think functional patterns, and I know that they have a lot of hard, even still, some of the lives, they're sometimes hard to watch or things like that. And when I was watching them, he was really hard on women and hard on, how we think about ourselves and how we project ourselves into reality. And some of that was really hard to hear. But I think when you can objectively look at yourself once again and not just, be like, oh, that guy sucks. It's like,
right. Well,
because I did some of that too.
Yeah.
But then it was like, oh my gosh, no, he's right. And I've changed so much. I mean, really, the way I project myself in reality, the way I don't take in certain substances anymore that were just causing me way more harm than good. Yeah. There's just so many little things that you don't really realize affect how you you see the world, really, how you're actually perceiving things around you until you can perceive yourself differently.
Yeah.
I think that was the gift I got from them, even though it was I earned it, it was not given to me.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like the whole functional patterns thing is like, it's like they give you a bunch of tools, but it's kind of up to you to apply them and work them out and understand them, which does allow us to have room to like kind of go into some of those things that you've developed yourself out of the root of those ideas without it being like a conflict.
Right.
Which can be pretty interesting. It has been great. And doing all the work in front of, I used to not want to work out in front of a mirror. Mm-hmm. We do everything in front of a mirror. 2 mirrors in your studio. You've got 2 mirrors like front and back, so you can see. You're looking at yourself. You're like, I now can like independently move muscles that I didn't even know I had. That I can like boop boop. I can like touch them and move them and like move things. It's kind of fun.
But bringing your visual awareness to them too makes you connect to them, and that's been a large problem I've had with some of the women that I trained, and even people who stopped training because they didn't want to train in front of the mirror. Yeah. And I'm like, it's just a mirror.
It's just a mirror. You are who you are.
It's just, you don't get to not be you anymore. And
that's it. Like you can put your head in the sand.
Then you'll never be able to look at anything else, I don't think, Yeah. So.
Yeah, it definitely starts with just being honest with yourself. Like you could want to be better. You could used to be better in your mind, look better, be thinner or less broken in your head or whatever, but you are who you are right now. And as long, like, just be honest with it and start working on it, it makes a huge difference.
Exactly. And not judge yourself. You are where you are today. Doesn't mean, if I showed you my before and afters, that's the exciting bit, is the change.
Right.
If I just had my afters,
I'd
be like, oh, well, that wasn't very hard.
I look pretty good for a guy who used to weigh 400 pounds. Like,
right. Or, a person who did yoga for 20 years with a banana body, and I had no tension and horrible head pain all the time. I mean, constantly. So, and then what I had to do to make myself not have pain, is using different substances. So it's just, it compounds. People don't realize how much pain compounds into true dysfunction.
Yeah.
It really, you start thinking about yourself negatively. You start thinking about people negatively, other people.
That was that feedback loop I found myself in.
Fuck that. It's like you get very, I don't know, that's why I call my business results wellness too, because it was like, if I can get people to change something, feel better in that hour or hour and a half, then they go home and they're nicer to their kids, they're nicer to their wife, they're nicer at work, whatever it is, they can take that energy and like move it in a direction that's more positive for them, instead of just kind of circling the drain into, the hopelessness and despair that most people tend to come to me in.
Yeah. My wife thanks you, and the things that we've gone through is like, I was not really there. Like I was physically there, but like I wasn't really there for my family for a while, for like 2 years, where it was, I was so much brain fog. I just couldn't think about anything else. Like, why can't I think? Like, why can't I even think of what I'm thinking about? It's very close to me. And so you're constantly like, oh, right. Like I'm having dinner, and I'm just like kept getting lost in what's wrong with me, like trying to figure myself out, but I had like no idea how to think, how to all of it. And so getting out on the other side, like I remember when Jen was like, you're back. That was awesome. I was like, hell yeah, I am back. I didn't even realize that at first. I was like, oh, this is good. Yeah. So I feel like my sense of humor started to come back, and my desire to do things came back. And
well, for me too, I had the bandwidth to work. I have to work because I have to have a house to live in, and I have to eat food and pay for my cat. So, I'm like, that was my focus. So I would prop myself up, and then I would come home and I would drink alcohol to put myself back to sleep. And it was just like this constant cycle. And it was never, after my car accident that really effed me up, it was just, that's all I could see was how to get to work, how to get home, and then sleep for like 12 hours,
Right.
you know, and on my days off, I used to not work before 11.
Okay.
Like, sorry.
Can't do it.
Can't work on you before 11. You know, and like that, because I needed the morning. I needed it to like get myself up, like ice packs, lay there. Like sometimes I would just sleep literally till 10 o'clock and then go right into work. Like it was just really just kicking the can down the road. You know, I was just, and I was there more for my clients than I was for myself, you know, and that was
right.
But I didn't have a boyfriend. You know, I didn't have anything really going. I didn't have a kid. So I was just able to isolate and be on my own.
Yeah.
And well, like that's super not depressing at all. So
right. Quality of life, little different now.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, luckily I have some friends who would come over and, you know, but yeah, it was not like the happiest time of my life by any means, but I'm an asshole and I will work myself to death to get out of that. You know, like I will find anything to just claw my way out. And so I did.
There you go. Nice.
Several times, unfortunately. But hey, I've got the skills now.
That's right. You're more equipped to handle and recover quicker and keep yourself from going.
And I feel empathy really for people who have gone through that. And it's not from a place of like, oh, it must be hard for you. It's like, no, I really know how that actually looks like, you know?
Yeah. And I can feel that you feel that in a way where, you know, pick someone on the list of specialists I've been to, the vestibular person, like, hey, here's what I'm feeling. And they're like, okay, well, let's put you on the machine and spin you. You're like, okay, this is going to be really hard for me, by the way, because it's already spin. Okay, no, all right, yeah, we're just going to do it. All right.
Yeah, let's throw your head back in the Apley maneuvers or whatever.
Right, exactly. Yeah, like
no, I've been there too.
Yeah, you can. I'll walk in the room for a session, and sometimes you're like, you're off. We're going to change the plan. You can just see it because you've been there, you've seen it so many times. Like, how did you know?
Or how many, I mean, I went and got my crystals done. I don't know how many times, and they threw my head and flirl me around.
Right.
I end up worse.
Yeah.
Oh, that's $150 for like 10, 15 minutes.
Thanks.
And then I'm just having to sit on the couch till I can drive myself back over the bridge. It's like.
Yeah. I've paid for my share of Epley maneuvers.
Take money from somebody if you don't do anything. Yeah. You know, I will work until it's done.
I know.
That's another problem that I have. But I can't let a person just leave, you know. Ooh, okay, see ya. No. That's just, I think that's strange. Like that's, you know, in the world of do no harm, like having a dizzy person get into a car is,
yeah,
I don't know.
There's a chance for harm to be done.
I feel like so.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you made a house call once. You came to my house because I couldn't move. My vertigo was so bad after a dumb thing I did. Because it's a journey. Like just because we figured out what the problem is and if are able to manage it great most of the time, there are some up moments. There's some down moments. I had a down moment. You came to my house and helped. Like, and I'm not the only one.
Yeah,
like
I will do that.
There's a house call in 2025. Shoot, it's awesome.
Only if you know me.
Yeah. It's for word of mouth referrals only.
Once you're mine, then you're mine. But
if you're
not mine, then you're not mine.
This is not for everybody. Yeah,
not my problem. No.
Yeah,
no. I do think I'm like uniquely suited to that. You know, because I have gone through it so much, and yes, had to process different versions of it too, like, you know, started with one, then after my car accident kind of had another type, and then so I just constantly learned through my own issues, but then also luckily I have all these lovely people and their dysfunctions that I can, you know, start to pattern out too. So it's like, oh, if you have this, you probably have this, you know, and then you start forming your own protocols. And then it does become a little bit more streamlined instead of in the beginning me like, oh, let's do this, you know, and trying to just see what would stick. Now I kind of know, if you look at like this, it's probably like this and could I ever explain that to anyone? Probably not.
Yeah.
It just lives in my head.
Yeah, you need an apprentice.
Yeah.
Well,
then I have to deal with them.
Yeah. exactly. But yeah, I mean, we've sent a number of people your way, and it's like I can just tell. Oh, Marcy can fix you for sure.
Yeah.
And like sometimes it's like one session. I'm a little jealous because like sometimes it's not as systemic of a problem. But yeah, it's like, yeah.
Some of your friends have easier problems than you.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But
that's fun too. And it does show, right? It's just depending on what's going on with you. It's not really me. I'm not trying to keep you.
Yeah.
So
exactly. Yeah. Your business model isn't get you on a 3-a-week plan for 6 months and pre-sell you. Like,
no.
Exactly.
I don't want to see you. I'm just kidding. All my clients, I love you. I'm just kidding. So.
We can be friends. You don't have to, be in the room.
Right. Yeah. Right. Or as needed. My chiropractor, I'm like, do I need to come back next week? She's always like, as needed.
Yep.
And it's like, I feel like when you put that out there, it does feel more relaxed. Like they're not expecting you to be coming back, and there's not, right. There's all this structure that it's not going to work if you don't, I feel like a lot of things are built up like that.
Right.
That we put all this pressure on ourselves, even in the healing, mode, that if we do these 10 things right, but we ate the cookie,
Right.
It's like, but it's really not that big of a deal, right? Like if you did the 10 things right, then maybe chill out about the cookie, and then maybe tomorrow circle back.
Right.
What can you cut out of the 10 things, or, things like that. So you do have to just start somewhere, though.
You do.
So that's what we're here for.
Well, I feel like we're probably, I don't even know, I can't even see from the camera like how long we've been going, but is there, for an average person who's been sitting at a computer for years, who maybe has aches and pains that doesn't realize like that's why, is there maybe a tip or two we could leave people with this episode that maybe they could take with them to hold them over to the next episode so they come back?
Should we do like sitting posture?
Yeah. I mean, posture is a good place to start, right?
Okay.
Yeah. Like that, the people at the coffee shop outside, when I walk by, they go like this. Yeah.
Well, and I think, obviously when you start to focus on where your center of mass is, that will be the easiest way to determine really what your body's doing. So mirrors, of course, and then the sensations that you feel. Okay. But generally you're going to be like schlumping, right? So there's going to be a C in this direction. Oh, I guess you can't see me. So bringing ourselves into some form of a thoracic extension. So usually our lumbar spine is already in some sort of extension because we're in that anterior pelvic tilt. We need to swap that. So we need to change our lumbar spine more into a posterior flexion.
And the difference between anterior and posterior. Anterior is ass out, right? So if you think about like popping your booty out, right? You're boom.
Right. And we could even like do a narration after or something, maybe.
Sure.
Like a sitting person.
Yes, we could do that.
Right. Just so you could see from the side. So yeah. Yeah. Also, where is your ear? In line with your shoulder.
It should be in line with your shoulder, right? That's where it should be.
Is it though?
But is it? But it should be.
Yeah. It should be in line with the shoulder. So it should be probably more farther back. But some people do this weird back thing too. Yeah. So, it just depends. Like that's why the mirror is helpful. Where are you in space? I think that's the question. If we start to answer that, we can change where we are in space.
Yeah. And so that classic good posture is what? Chin up, shoulders back. That's like not.
It is not true.
That's not good posture.
Right.
Yes.
So I always tell people, what would you do if you were about to get into a fight?
I mean, I'd bring my shoulders forward a little bit. I would bring myself up a little bit.
Right. You kind of puff shoulders up. Yeah. So that's one of the bases where we start. Obviously,
so is this good posture?
Obviously, it's not so extreme. Right. Yeah. We take you into an extreme and then we'll kind of dampen it down.
Right. And so that's busting out of your cast, right? So you're coming up out of the space you normally, so that when you rest, you've moved your baseline forward a little bit.
Right. And if your usual baseline is trying to push your shoulders really far back and kind of pinch your shoulder blades together, pushing them forward and getting some scapular detraction, it just should feel nice too. Sometimes you'll even get a little cramp in your back, right? Because your back's not used to doing that. So just starting to look, identifying tension, identifying center of mass, head, where is it in space? Then that's also, where's your jaw in space? You know, do you like to tuck it? Do you push it forward?
Do you clench it when you work? This is one of my problems. I just clench, like without, not this much, but like I'm always tucking it and clenching it, sort of like engaging my jaw muscle like all the time.
Yeah, there's usually some sort of subconscious pattern that you've gone into tension-wise where you're holding the tension in these incorrect
I've like done a counter before. Like as soon as I notice it, like count it in a minute, I'll do like 23 times. I'm like, and I'm actively knowing that I'm trying to not clench. And it's like, maybe not in 1 minute, 23 is too much, but like, it's like every 5 or 6 seconds, as soon as I don't think, as soon as I let go actively thinking about it, within 5 seconds, I'm clenching again most of the time.
Yeah.
Still working on it.
Yeah. So once again, like we've talked about, we can't erase programs once they're in there.
Yeah.
So you have to rewrite over it.
Right. Like a hard drive.
Right. So when your teeth clench, you actually take that and use it as the push button for the new program.
Okay.
So now your new program is all the tension goes into the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And it suctions up to the roof of the mouth like a little suction pad, like a sticky suction pad, like on your shower. Exactly.
Yeah. Right.
So then as soon as you do that with your teeth, you use that as the prompt. Because I told you I have a tooth one too. So I like to cram my teeth together in the front.
Yeah.
Back to where I'm like
also not good.
Wearing a little hole in my teeth.
Yeah.
And so, yes, the dentist was like,
what are you doing?
You're probably not going to have teeth if you keep doing that. The front teeth at that. So, so now as soon as I make that motion, I push it into my tongue. And I've retrained myself now that that's part of that is the program. Right. Like the teeth happen and then the tongue happens.
The teeth tell you to do the thing. And then the idea is eventually.
I feel like I don't know if I'll ever be able to now get out of that.
Yeah.
But that's the program. And I at least stopped doing the teeth. Like the second the teeth happen, my tongue, and I'm subconsciously in my tongue all the time.
Yep.
So I'm like, well, I can't necessarily get out of my teeth, but I can at least use the teeth as a trigger to access where I really should be holding my tension all the time, which is that tongue.
There you go. There's the training.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's just you got to trick yourself though. Our nervous system is a tricky little bitch. It doesn't want to do what we want it to do.
That should be a t-shirt.
Most of the time.
Yeah. My nervous system is.
Unfortunately, everyone's is.
Yeah.
I was working with a client yesterday and she was like, I was doing something. She's like, usually this would hurt so bad, but at this point in the session, it feels so good. And I was like, right. Like I'm actually having a conversation with your nervous system though. And so there are points in time where I'm going to like kind of trick it, like I'm trying to confuse it in a way so that it will stop doing what it's been doing because it needs to do something differently.
Yeah. Knock it off.
Right. So how does my nervous system communicate with your nervous system in a way that it actually gets the information? Yeah. I think a lot of massage therapists aren't really concerning themselves with that aspect of the treatment at all. I mean, I've had tons of clients or massages where people will like just drop my head. It's like you're only like a quarter of an inch off the table, but just that makes you guard yourself.
Right.
Or
and now your body's trying to protect itself.
Right. They're going in too quickly or they're using way too much lotion and they're just slipping over that big giant knot that you really want them to dig into. And so your nervous system is actually getting pissed off because it's like, this is the person that's supposed to be doing some of this stuff. And they're activating things, but they're never completing it. So they're just kind of stimulating already highly stimulated areas. So that's why a lot of people don't like massage, or they say,
they've
like overstimulated. Had some really bad ones.
And that's like a very common problem now with even young kids, is just chronic overstimulation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And our ability to self-soothe ourselves, and how does that nervous system learn how to start soothing itself too, out of when we're in these, traumatic positions or more high stress work environments, how does our system find balance, essentially in nonviolent war? It's like
basically, right? Yeah, exactly.
Like our bodies are stimulated like they are in some type of battle, but and so we feel like there might be physical threat, to ourselves, our adrenals, or cortisol, all these things are pumping.
Yeah. I mean, it's like it has gotten, at least to a degree, it's good that we're talking about, if you're on social media or people out there are talking about maybe about the fascia system, but talking about fight or flight, cortisol, like we're at least starting to be like, oh, there's something, like why, like what's going on. But then the influencer world just kind of jumps in with products to sell them.
Right, like nicotine patches or something.
And it's like, not that there aren't good products out there that can help you do certain things, but there's so much. I mean, if you're talking about like easy, lowest hanging fruit, there's so many things you could do yourself before you have to spend $1.
Or we're also like not allowing our bodies to be the magnificent creatures that they are. We want to just constantly put in endogenous, exogenous chemicals or whatever. So it's just like we're just constantly putting chemicals into ourselves and not really seeing what our normal hormone system, our normal nervous system, what it could achieve. But if you look at, I guess the Greek and the Romans, they had their own thing going on, but there was some chemical usage still back then.
I'm sure they found some.
But, you do see like ancient civilizations, I don't think they were constantly propped up by caffeine and, all of the different things that we are using today, all the heavy stimulants and then all the downers. And then, you want to lose weight. Well, there's some terzepatides. There's just always an answer for any problem that you have pharmacologically. And it's just,
it's overstimulation.
You're co-opting your body's ability to handle the situation. And I think you're toning your nervous system in the correct direction. You're not really giving yourself and your body a chance to even respond or rise to the occasion that you're putting it in. You're just constantly being like, oh no, and just, I think that has been, for me, the eye-opener too, that I do it to myself. If I am overstimulated, we grab our phones.
Yeah.
I think I told you I took my daughter to the dentist and all the kids are overstimulated. They all had phones. I didn't give her my phone, but I held her leg and I was like, pay attention to my arm on your leg. And I'm like, even that's like this pacifying device, though. I'm like not letting her system feel stress and handle the stress.
Yeah.
And it's not dangerous stress. It's just a dent. It's just like a very nice man touching her teeth and going, oh, hey. And like,
you're good.
Right.
You got a wiggly one. Yeah.
Right. It's just so, but we're protecting, our children from any little thing. And I think I realize I'm protecting myself as well from any little thing, even just getting me into this podcast.
I know. That's it. We did it. We're in the room. We're nearly done the first episode.
Right. But like my nervous system, right? It's like I want to just push away the uncomfortable and reach for my pacifiers.
Yeah.
And I'm 45.
Exactly. I mean, I'm doing the, I've always done the same
8-year-olds.
thing. My relationship with food is very unhealthy. We can talk about food and stuff in maybe another episode.
Digestion. We're going
to
talk on that.
We're going to get into that. I've got a lot of things in the past. I lost a lot of weight a while ago, put some of it back on. And now I unfortunately have gotten in a pattern of realizing that carbs soothe my nervous system. And so when I'm feeling off, I eat. And so it's very hard for me to lose weight as long as that pattern is in place.
That's not a horrible pattern. And I can show you a metabolic diet lady who actually, it is a very important. Carbs actually are what our body needs when we're in stress.
But are you talking about 3 bowls of live cereal at 2 a.m.? Probably not.
No, I'm talking about like a small cup of orange juice.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's like let's talk about it.
Maybe some collagen powder or
okay.
Mix it too.
Fair. Yeah. Because then I'll swing between doing that, which is one extreme. Because like there will be, that's like how I self-soothe, at least sometimes when I'm weak. And then I'll overcompensate with a wildly restrictive diet like the next day, which I'll break on the next day after that.
Because now you get a headache because now you have no carbs.
So like while this stuff is doing great, I've gotten so much better. I feel like a human being again. The stuff you can't see below ways,
hey, that's later.
That's later, right? And you gave me permission, like just focus on the big problem first, and then we'll work on the other thing. So that is something I want to pursue is, dropping 20 pounds.
Well, and honestly, that does just come. Like, I think as your body finds its metabolic set point, the stress is reduced, the nervous system can relax. I mean, like I said, we can show my before and afters. That's just 1 year difference of functional patterns. Yeah. But I was training 3 times a week. It was during COVID. So it was a much different reality. And obviously when you don't have to go to work every day, you can focus. And for me, I like to focus on my problems. So that's like fun for me. So that's what I did. I was 5 days a week. I was all in, I was watching the lives. I was doing something at least every day. Yeah. I was in the cult, as Matt says, but
that's kind of where I'm at right now. I'm really into it. Yeah.
Well, when you see like, oh my gosh, for the first time in like 10 years, I'm not waking up with a migraine every day. Yeah. I'm not waking up with, this dizzy pain in my head that I can't focus on anything. And I
can drive myself
from work to
for a while, my wife had to drive me places because I couldn't drive.
Oh, I have several clients that are like that. But there's an end to that. Right. A lot of them were driving by the end. We could get maybe other people to say.
Exactly.
But it is so key when your cervical instability becomes stable. It's like the light switch, right? It's really right in the central nervous system, the central canal, disrupting your spine from your brain.
Yeah.
This
is it, right? This is where all of the magic happens.
Yes.
Right? Like I think you said it in the past, was like 8 super highways all converging to a little country road going up to you've got
the smallest gravel road. Right. 8-lane superhighway.
All your arteries, all your major, like all that stuff then goes up. And then you have a really tight neck because you pushed it forward and locked it. And all the nerves go through there that then go down to your gut and like your vagus nerve. Like there's so many things that are like all happening right here. Yeah. And then when you can actually decompress it, all of a sudden things have a chance to work the way they're supposed to again.
Right. Now that highway of information is actually reaching the brain.
Yeah.
Wow, now I can think, I can experience my life again in a full capacity.
Yeah.
It's night and day.
It's pretty great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's my pleasure. I'm fortunate enough that I got the answers for myself, but that's, part of the wounded healer journey, whatever archetype is, that we have to go through it first, and then when we do, we get the answers and we can crawl out of the ground and come and bring the gifts back to everyone else. So but awesome. You have to go on the journey. So
well, hopefully you guys want to go on this journey on the podcast with us, because we kind of talked about a lot of things on a high level. We can nerd out in individual episodes about all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Or any specific questions.
Yeah. Good transition. If anybody has problems, questions, things you want to pick Marcy's brain and have me kind of make faces while you're doing it, you can send your questions, or you can record a video and send it to us at set up an email address, mailbag@recoverymode.fm. We'll put that on the screen and it'll be in the links and all this stuff. So if you have questions, just send them over, and then if we don't have any, we won't mention it. We'll just say, you can send questions next time. And if we have a lot, we'll just we'll figure out what we can do to actually help and talk about them on the show, break it down. Otherwise, we can continue to use my experience and different things as, a path through. You showed me your notes file of everything you want to talk about. There's so much stuff we can nerd out about, all sorts of things that would be so good for you to understand, to learn, things you can do with a lacrosse ball, things you can do with stuff at home.
Doing some myofascial rolling segments.
Learn how to do releases.
Right. Specific protocol that you can follow at home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right. Awesome. We'll see how it goes.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good.
How do we end it? Did you just end it?
Should we do recovery mode? No.
Ooh.
I've never been on a sports team and now.
Go sports. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
It looks like that fun. That looks like the fun.
That looks like fun.
No, just kidding.
That's awkward.
No, just kidding.
Yeah. All right. That's probably it. We'll be back.
All right.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Bye. Nice. Hey, we did a thing.